In today's video, I will talk about what do you do when you don't feel attractive anymore or when you don't feel attractive enough. Hi, this is Liana, Holistic Intimacy Coach. Welcome to my channel. Here we grow in intimacy. So this is a thorny topic, and everybody in a long-term relationship at a certain point feels the sting and the pangs of maybe jealousy, maybe competition, maybe threat, maybe losing it, like losing their magnetism, their attraction for the other person's attraction for them. I have 6 points that I want to make today. Bear with me. Number 1, a grounded look at attraction and your hotness or sexiness. First of all, everybody has their own ranking, let's say, according to their own potential. Okay, so it's related, or we make the comparison with ourselves. How much we could potentially be in attraction and how much we embody from that potential. I'm not talking about comparing people, giving grades or marks or whatever from one person to another. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about us, our potential, how much we fulfill it, how much we sit on it, waste it, so on. Your level of hotness is influenced by physicality, how you embody yourself, absolutely, how you groom yourself, definitely, and how much you take care of your body. And I'm not talking necessarily about doing plastic surgery, trying to hack your body and change your physicality to an extreme. So I'm not talking about those things. Those, from my perspective, are out of proportion, and anything that is imbalanced isn't attractive. But that's me. I'm looking for balance and proportions, harmony, overall. You might disagree. Totally valid there. Next, your emotionality also matters. And I'm not talking just about how emotional you are, like how colorful you express your joy, your happiness, your bliss, your excitement about life in general, about things, how you express yourself emotionally when you are attracted to somebody, or even how you express yourself emotionally when you are in a relationship with somebody. Emotion is the biggest aphrodisiac, remember that. But this is just one ingredient. Emotional maturity. Wow, super important. And that one is an entire discussion altogether. Here, I had a video 4 years ago, I think. It was about intimacy and the foundations of seduction. Check that one out. I had another video on sexual maturity. Check that one out as well. Okay, what these things do, so these perspectives, they make you grounded and more attractive, basically. So when you have these things in check, like seduction, what does it mean? And I'm not talking about mass seducer here. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about picking people up like that, pickup artists. I'm talking about seducing yourself, enjoying yourself, charming yourself all the way, and then having that vibe with your partner. My perspective here is of long-term relationships. Seduction does happen in long-term relationships. And that starts with your inner vibe, okay? Inner self. It all goes down to you, always. That's the best resource at hand, the best resource that you can work with. Okay, next to that, I'm also talking about how much you can handle your emotions whenever a challenge, a pang of competition, a sting of rejection strikes you or creeps in. Okay, how you handle your emotional reactions. Because you are a human being, you're gonna have emotional reactions to that sort of thing. So how you manage your emotions, that goes down to your level of attractiveness and how much of your potential you actually embody, and how much you squander or maybe don't have a strategy for it. Next, mentality, mindset, psychology. And here, obviously, I'm looking at your definitions, what you conceive and perceive as attractive about you, what you conceive to do, to learn, to expand, to grow in order to enhance maybe your attractive potential. Nothing is static in this life, and neither is your potential and how much of your potential you express. The second thing that I'm going to look at is how you actually decided to go into a relationship. Okay, you entered a relationship with somebody based on what? Attraction alone? That one is not necessarily the most, it can't be the only reason you go into a relationship and expect that relationship to last in the long run. Why is that? Very simple. Because everything about us waxes and wanes. There are times when we're expansive, we're magnetic, we're attractive, we're exuberant, full of energy. Man, we attract everything. People, friendships, businesses, networks. We attract all sorts of things. And then there comes a time when we go within, we're a little more, low key. That's also part of our experience. If your relationship was based just on that, then actually it starts to shake because it has only one foundation, your attractivity and your attraction between the two of you. But if you take a relationship for more than just that, then a relationship will sustain your moments of low in attraction. There's always going to be that. And they won't turn into a crisis meant to possibly break the relationship. Also, because you founded your decision to go into a relationship on more than just that, you are more relaxed to actually go into your non-attractive states. Hey, it's gonna happen. We all get there. Trust me when I say this. Everyone goes there as well. So, mind with matter. And in this case, mind with heart and matter. The third thing, what are your fortes? Everybody has them. And I'm talking about here, first of all, native fortes, okay, the one that you had them by birth. And then I'm talking about acquired fortes, stuff that you've learned in your life. A sustainable way to go about a relationship is to base more of your attraction on your acquired fortes, not so much your talent or native ones. Why? At a certain point, your looks are going to fade away, but your acquired assets, fortes, they're always going to be there. Those are more sustainable than the physical ones. Always remember that. Acquired fortes are usually more valuable than natural ones. And I'm not saying to disown or disconsider your natural gifts. Always be grateful for those. Always, and always take care of those. I'm just saying don't base your relationships just on your natural fortes. Base them on your acquired fortes. What could those be? Well, stuff that you learn. Stuff that you learn to make intimacy beautiful, because we're going to stay on track. Stuff that you learned to keep the fire going even when you're apart or even when things are rough. Stuff that you've learned to take care of yourself and not be so needy. Not that it's bad to need somebody. I'm just saying that you learn to take care of yourself and hold your own ground. It's not always possible, but if you can do that most of the time, awesome. That means what? You don't use your partner's emotional resources in order to feel better, and you're an asset most of the time for the relationship, not a liability. And remember this, your level of energy also impacts your level of attractivity. Okay? And also the level of energy that is brought to a relationship makes a relationship more on fire. The amount of energy that you take away from your relationship and your partner, that you diminish your attractiveness with so much more. Think in really pragmatic terms. The more you base your relationship on your acquired fortes, the more attractive you are in the long term in that relationship. Simple, right? Think about it. Relationships are investment. Number 4, what can you realistically do in a given situation? Let's say you're with your partner, and then a third party shows up and they are super hot. Super hot. And they're different and they're new. Rats, they are new. Basically, you don't have the element of surprise, of newness. You have other assets on your side, but you don't have those. And those are extremely powerful aphrodisiacs sometimes. And maybe your partner, even though they're crazy about you, even though they like you and they love you and they wouldn't change you for anything and for anyone, they're gonna be, enraptured by the other person, even if momentarily. What can you do in a given situation? This is very important, and this one is very personal. What can you do? Like, before I say anything here, ask yourself, what could I do in that moment? Here are some sources of inspiration. Take a deep breath. Chill. Mentally. Don't make it worse than it is. Take some time off. Whenever you can, take some time off to process that. Maybe go for counseling or coaching or a therapy session. If you need to vent it, before you vent it in your relationship and make, there's a Romanian expression that is very plastic. I'm not sure if I should use it here. So before you make a mess of everything, maybe go to vent it with somebody like a professional, a third neutral party. Somebody who will keep confidentiality through the nature of their work. And number 5, try to do something constructive. There is a way for you to turn a challenge into what? An opportunity to do something. Okay? I always use my low emotions like rage, anger, fear, anxiety, stuff like that. I use that eventually, not on the spot, but eventually I use it to do something constructive. A jolt like that can be used for the good if you are the kind of person that will turn a threat into an opportunity. Usually this means that you have the vibe or the approach of an entrepreneur. Yeah. That way of going about things without struggling, without pushing yourself, like overdoing it and exaggerating, that one can definitely be extremely attractive. It's a game changer when done with measure. Remember, Libra here, measure. And 5, what are your resources? Okay? Or your quick fixes on the moment, the first aid that you can do. Like I said before, breath, take a breath. Maybe you can take some moments, depending on the situation, you can just go and get a glass of water. Not think about it, like allow yourself to look at larger things, larger perspectives, like a scenery or something like that. Disconnect your brain, because your brain's gonna go on fire if you just wire it to the same situation and you don't give it a pause. The skills of pros to take a pause and allow yourself and your brain to rewire, re-see this, reset basically. Super important. And last, 6, how can I help? Well, depending on your situation, first of all, daily videos like this one are gonna help. Absolutely. Secondly, depending on a situation, you might actually go for a coaching session. Book a coaching session. I'll put a link under this video. Check that one out. Consider it. Like, seriously consider that. Third, you can actually go for one of the practices. I've shared in many videos here. There are practices that I use to make myself feel better. And I have a sexuality practices, 10 to 15 minutes. There's a playlist. Take any one of those. Even if the sound is not so great, just lie down on a mattress, do a practice once and see how your entire perspective shifted. Even if it's just one bit. Even if it's just one bit shifting. That is so valuable. You shifted something. You didn't stay in the exactly same place. That makes you valuable in any situation, including your intimate relationship. And last but not least, you can go for my other programs, Sex Dojo for Women. Those are more advanced practices. You work on your entire sexuality, and it's a resource for you. It's not something that you can't control. It's not something that you have fear around. And you can definitely manage better and show up way better in moments where maybe there's a challenge, maybe there's a contender there, maybe there's something that kind of puts you off track. Okay, it's totally human for that to happen. Resources and a really grounded, empowered approach to your sexuality, those are going to help way better than anything else. So check those out. Let me know how you feel about this, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video. I wish you an empowered sexuality.